In the middle of the night, I sit up in bed, the soft light from my night lamp casting a warm glow on my face. I look through photos from all my birthday parties, chronicling my journey from babbling to articulate speech. The album ends at 21, and I was born in spring. I won't see 22, doomed to pass away in winter. Adding to my troubles, people on the Carter Corp board, sensing my illness, become restless and fight for power. Even my cousin Alex Carter goes to our villa in Florida, persuading my father, Henry Carter, to transfer 40% of the shares to him. The illness I tried to keep under wraps is now public, something I never wanted to burden my parents with. In the hospital's single room, I clutch the white sheets tightly as I listen to Ethan. Luna, Alex Carter is a beast. Uncle Henry refused to give him the shares, so he's teamed up with other companies against Carter Corp and publicly slandered Uncle Henry. The conference room's voices fill the room. Alex's brazen words are nauseating. He dares to call my father good for nothing, saying that after I'm gone, Carter Corp will inevitably fall into his hands. His confidence comes from being the most talented among the younger Carters, a graduate of Duke University with ambition. My brows furrow slightly, my lips part with interest. Such confidence, but Carter Corp doesn't necessarily have to be passed on to Carter blood. Carter Corp's shares are majorly held by my parents, 40% by my father, 20% by my mother, with scattered ownership among other shareholders. My handle over Carter Corp at a young age isn't just due to my own merits. My parents' shares also play a big role. As long as Carter Corp, nurtured by my parents' lifelong efforts, continues to grow stronger and my parents can enjoy their retirement, the bloodline of the chairman doesn't matter. Moonlight slowly envelops the hospital. Ethan lies on a chair, dozing off, when the door creaks open. Charlotte walks in with a vibrant bouquet of roses. In the darkness, she forces a smile, unwilling to show me any sadness. But I see right through it. Partings are the most bitter aspect of human experience. Charlotte speaks gently, like a warm sun, telling me entertaining stories. The rose's brilliance adds a few colors to this pale winter day. After she finishes, I cut to the chase. Some things have happened at Carter Corp lately. Someone is trying to. Charlotte interrupts me. I know, sister. Do you want me to get involved? Just then, the television lights up, and the handsome features of Alex Carter appear on the screen. The current chairman of Carter Corp is bedridden, but rest assured, our supplies across various industries won't lack, and you can depend on us. He smiles slightly. The next chairman of Carter Corp is yet to be determined. His eyes are set on the prize, his motives clear to all. I press my lips together, unable to bear it, my voice hoarse. When did it become his turn to speak for Carter Corp? His heart is vile, his tactics filthy. Charlotte strokes my back, her voice soft. Sister, don't be angry. I stared intently at the screen, watching the seemingly upright person displayed there. My palms were clenched tightly, and it took a while before I could relax. Then I took out my phone and dialed, Dad, don't worry about Alex Carter. Just come to Carter Hospital now. My parents are elderly and both have heart conditions. They can't deal with conflicts within the family. Alex Carter's behavior is even more unsuitable for the role of chairman. No wonder in my dreams, Carter Corp was in decline, and only with the help of Ethan Hartley could it keep its foothold in the capital. I realized that when my illness struck, my heart was already unsteady. Alex Carter, in his quest for power, allied with other companies to threaten my father and confront Carter Corp. He didn't realize that in scheming with the tiger, he was seeking his own demise. As I was contemplating, an elderly man dressed in a suit, his hair white but spirit undiminished, walked in. A twinge of guilt unexpectedly arose within me. I'm an adult, yet unable to let my parents enjoy their twilight years in peace. Dad, once you sign this, you won't have to worry anymore, I said, handing over the contract I had prepared earlier. It was a share transfer document, with my name prominently featured. On my coming of age, my mother transferred 20% of her shares to me. Now, with my father's 40%, Charlotte Dodge could fully take charge. Henry Carter studied the transfer document for a long time before finally speaking, looking towards the person at the bedside. Is this Charlotte? She looks quite similar to you, Luna. Since you've decided, I'll support you with all my might. He signed his name with a flourish, transferring his life's work to a stranger because of my decision. Suddenly, my nose tingled and my vision blurred. Faced with death, I felt an unexpected fear. I can't bear to leave my parents, Ethan Hartley and Charlotte Dodge. Besides the beautiful landscapes and the delicious foods from around the world, what's truly hard to let go of are the emotions. My father handed me a tissue. "Little crybaby, wipe your nose. Everything will be okay, don't be afraid." I took the tissue, crying silently, my voice quivering. It will be okay. Though we both knew well enough, I wouldn't survive the winter. We were just comforting each other. My father stayed with me for a long time, and Ethan Hartley also slowly awoke. The four of us sat in silence through the long night. The next day, I asked my father to adopt Charlotte Dodge as his goddaughter, and my mother rushed over as well. After breakfast with the five of us together, Ethan Hartley accompanied Charlotte Dodge to Carter Corp. They made a striking pair, a handsome man and a beautiful woman. The powerful main characters, destined to stand at the highest pedestal of the capital, admired by all. They were united for Carter Corp, nothing to worry about. I laughed at myself mockingly. Why was I the secondary character destined to die early? No matter. I've enjoyed 21 years of jewels, luxurious clothes, and everyone's affection. Perhaps my life has been smooth enough, worth an ordinary lifetime. Through surveillance, I watched Ethan Hartley and Charlotte Dodge solve issues with ease, leaving Alex Carter speechless. As expected, Charlotte Dodge became the next chairman of Carter Corp. But her real challenges were just beginning. Now, Carter Corp was being suppressed by Alex Carter and other companies, problems cropping up across various sectors. The new boss had to not only solve these issues, but do it with grace. Charlotte Dodge took a month's leave from Duke University and set up her office in my hospital room. She tirelessly reviewed contracts and worked on her computer, occasionally stepping out to make phone calls with a voice so soft, every action so gentle. That night, I looked over at Charlotte and saw her eyes, fatigued and void of life, suddenly sparkle with determination. "Take a rest," I said, my voice weak. "Continuing like this isn't the way." Charlotte shook her head. "I want to make my sister happy." I was taken aback, examining myself in the mirror, skin haggard, eyes lifeless, lips pale. I forced a smile, more painful than crying, realizing that I haven't been happy these days. "Sleep now. There's no need to hurry in proving yourself. I believe in you. It's just a matter of time." Finally, with my encouragement, Charlotte closed her eyes in exhaustion. In the darkness, I felt a sting in my eyes, unable to sleep. I wanted to get out of bed to cover her with a blanket, but my legs were too weak. I felt so useless. Carter Corp had fallen to the point of needing Charlotte to take over, my parents needing her care, and I couldn't even cover her with a blanket. Overwhelmed with a sense of defeat, I took a deep breath, lay back down, and fell asleep only in the middle of the night. Charlotte's efforts paid off, and she resolved the issues at Carter Corp. Even the stubborn old board members started to see her in a new light. I was becoming increasingly sleepy, spending 15 hours of the day in slumber. Relatives and friends came to see me, but I hardly had the strength to speak. One day when I woke up, snow blanketed everything outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. Winter had arrived silently. The calendar showed more and more red circles, with only 10 days remaining until the new year. I couldn't guarantee when my breathing would cease. A surge of pain welled up inside me, and I couldn't stop coughing. I quickly covered my mouth with a tissue and saw blood when I let go. Charlotte walked in holding red roses, froze at the sight, and her tears long held back burst forth. She clutched my hand helplessly. "Sister, someone as good as you shouldn't die." I smiled softly. "It's okay, my life has been worthwhile." Despite being a billionaire who could handle things competently on her own before me, Charlotte still appeared vulnerable and forlorn, like the little flower girl I first met, endearing and pitiable. I stroked her head. "Okay, I want to rest now." Charlotte immediately stood up, nodding repeatedly, and after telling me to watch the charity gala tomorrow, she left. I took a pen and 3 cards from the bedside table, which my father had brought for me. I wrote carefully on each card and then drifted off into a heavy sleep. The next day, I woke up near dusk and turned on the TV to the charity gala program. Charlotte, dressed in a fiery red gown, with bright lips and slightly curled hair, stood on stage and announced with a clear voice, I'm donating 60 million to impoverished mountain areas, hoping the goodwill shown to me by one person will last a long time, and hopefully accumulate blessings for her to keep her smiling. The host asked who that person was, and Charlotte confidently and boldly replied, "The best person I've ever met, Luna Carter. Without exaggeration, my sister has changed my life." Unknowingly, my smile bloomed like spring, seeing Charlotte transition from being insecure and sensitive to confidently speaking under the spotlight, from a goldfinch stand-in in the original story to a billionaire shining in the corporate world. That was all because of me. A sense of accomplishment and joy spontaneously arose. Carter Corp's business will definitely flourish and not fade away in the capital. My parents' hard work was preserved, and they too would enjoy their later years. As for Ethan Hartley, upon seeing the card, he should be able to let go and not be disheartened. Suddenly, fireworks burst into the snowy sky, adding color to the white world. The sound of fireworks mingled with Charlotte's words, and I closed my eyes in peace. When Ethan Hartley entered the hospital room, my eyes were tightly shut, lying breathless on the bed. 3 cards lay on the bedside table, addressed to my parents, Charlotte and Ethan. Ethan picked up the card and read, "Ethan, Happy New Year in advance. After I'm gone, you must be happy, free, and always dazzling. If you meet someone you feel for, don't mind me. Be brave and try. Remember, I always want you to be happy. Also, having you in my life for 21 years has been a joy." Ethan's eyes reddened as he repeatedly called out my name, Luna, Luna, Luna. I wished I could reach out and hug him to ease his pain, but I couldn't touch him. Charlotte and my parents arrived one after another, all seeing my cards. My parents had to endure the agony no parent should face, and Charlotte stood frozen before finally finding the courage to look at me on the bed. Everyone was crying. But in a way, we had celebrated an early and complete new year. I came with the spring flowers and left with the winter snow.